Today's top stories at NBR. Auckland medical cannabis firm, first legal distributor of dried cannabis flower. Rail and ferry workers withdraw strike action. Cost out exercise at Sky brings upward guidance, and there's more coming right up. Kia ora and welcome to NBR Today, a wrap of the day's top business stories from the authority in New Zealand business news since 1970, nbr.co.nz. It's Tuesday, December 7th. I'm Paul Brennan. Thanks again for joining us. An application by BNZ for summary judgment against expat businessman George Kerr over debts described as north of $60 million will go ahead next week after the High Court today, Tuesday, declined his application for adjournment. At a brief hearing before Justice Graham Lang, counsel for Kerr and his companies Lothian Capital Partners and Pine Holdings, Jason Goodall, argued that how much was actually owed to the bank was disputed, and there was not enough time to analyse the bank's evidence before the hearing on Monday and Tuesday next week, and that BNZ had provided 300 pages of loan transaction documents only on November 29th. Goodall also said receivers of income of a related Kerr company had confirmed Monday the sale of property at New Chums Beach, whose proceeds would be applied to the BNZ debt. Auckland medical cannabis firm Nubu will be the first legal distributor of dried cannabis flower in New Zealand, following approval of an Australian product by the Ministry of Health. Australian Natural Therapeutics Group's low THC, high CBD Eve product was approved by the MOH for use as a tea on December 2nd. It does not meet the minimum quality standard for products intended for use by inhalation. Eve will be distributed in New Zealand by Nubu Pharmaceuticals. Incentives such as lower effective tax rates or greater contribution rates could be powerful levers to improve New Zealand's relatively low retirement savings levels. ASB Executive General Manager of Private Banking, Wealth and Insurance, Adam Boyd, says other ideas include the reintroduction of the $1,000 Kiwisaver Kickstart government contribution and improve access to advice as industry participants assess the future of Kiwisaver at a Financial Services Council conference today, Tuesday. The debate, Kiwisaver 2.0, Are We Moving the Dial or Moving the Deck Chairs, featured Boyd, Core Data Principal Andrew Inwood, University of Auckland Associate Professor Susan St John, Mint Asset Management Head of Sales and Marketing David Boyle, and the Financial Markets Authority's Director of Investment Paul Gregory.
So as a nation, we've got a history of just saving. On a global scale, New Zealand has just always been relatively low when it comes to savings. And then in addition to that, if you think about over the last 20 years, just globally again, companies have been focusing really hard on helping and incenting customers to spend.
ASB Executive General Manager of Private Banking, Wealth and Insurance, Adam Boyd, from Tuesday's Kiwisaver 2.0 debate. Rail and ferry workers have withdrawn strike action against KiwiRail following a new offer from the state-owned enterprise. Rail and Maritime Transport Union members had voted for what would have been the first full national stoppage of the rail system since 1994, in support of an 8% wage increase. The union was upset at what it claimed were huge bonuses recently paid to senior management. Last month, an overwhelming majority of members voted in favour of the strike after no pay increase at all in 2020. Union General Secretary Wayne Buston said today, Tuesday, that following negotiations between RMTU and KiwiRail, a new offer from the employer would be taken back to members for ratification. A cost-out exercise at Sky, done with the help of the former CFO of Australia's Foxtel, has led the broadcaster to review its guidance for the year upwards. James March had been brought in to examine the company's costs after having led the same process at Foxtel, where an increase in offshoring and outsourcing had been the result. Sky has recently dipped its toes in this model, selling its outside broadcasting assets to NEP New Zealand earlier this year for an undisclosed sum and now leasing them back. Sky said operating costs of $35 million had been removed from the business in the current year, and an annualised $40 to $45 million in reoccurring cost savings would be realised. The full details of those stories and more are at nbr.co.nz right now. Tomorrow at NBR, new research reveals the extent of local businesses falling victim to ransomware cyber attacks, and law firm Buddle Finlay is urging large financial institutions and corporates to get ready for the day they have to start reporting their climate-related financial financial risks and opportunities. I'm Paul Brennan. I look forward to being with you again tomorrow from around lunchtime for the morning's NBR Trending Stories. Then same time, same place, again right here at 5:30 tomorrow for another NBR Today.